Hello and welcome to VeloPro. I'm Bob, this is our juice, and this is our story. Before I start, new subscribers, I gotta thank new subscribers. I don't do it enough, and new viewers, thank you very much. And thank you very much for all the great comments. I really have a super comment section, and I am proud of that. Thank you. Let's get to work. Okay, CO2 and methane levels have increased through man-made waste, and industry, and we pretty well have discussed that in the CO2 and the reality of methane videos. Now, this channel strives to be objective and not emotional. However, the Extinction Rebellion wants us to panic. Many of us watched The Matrix and decided we don't want a predetermined destiny and made our own choices and took the red pill. And I'm going to leave a link to QZ.com, who talks about this Extinction Rebellion and their potential future. Extremists discuss topics from cannibalization, eating babies, lowering the population by not having families, and nutrition, and abortion. All these topics are being discussed. So Silent News has an article, and I'll leave a link because they discuss this. Blocking bridges from emergency vehicles threatens life, especially that of seniors. And I'm encouraged that hundreds were arrested internationally, and Spike News has more on what was going on. The planet revolves around the sun elliptically. The maximum distance is between 80 and 116 million miles. That's a 20 to 25% difference of solar irradiance. In 2017, the distance measured 91 million to 94.5 million, making a difference of 6% of solar irradiance. I'm going to leave a link because the Milankovitch cycles are something that I found most interesting, because as the Earth rotates on its axis elliptically around the sun, it plays with with the winter and summer. It kind of does almost the opposite of what you might think, at least in my mind. It's a really interesting topic. The reason I say that is when we're close up here in the northern hemisphere, when we're closest to the sun, it's winter. And I found that kind of curious. Okay, the sun is responsible for all life on Earth. The sun is a typical star which provides about 1,300 watts per meter. Sunspots, however, affect the Earth with solar flares and coronal mass ejections. Solar flares produce X-rays and magnetic fields that strike the Earth as geomagnetic storms. And experts warned of such a storm in March of 2019, and I'll leave the link to the story. Most of the effect can be seen in the northern lights, and most of us seen the aurora. It's very beautiful, and that's all a gift from the sun. But it also can affect communication and power grids if it's a very big one, and I'll leave a link to NASA, who discusses this type of thing. Now, a curious event called the Little Ice Age occurred during the Maunder minimum between 1645 and 1715. This is a period of minimum or near zero sunspot activity, and that's curious, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Another consideration is the Earth's axis, which is 24.5 degrees. The Earth wobbles on its axis between 22.1 and 24.5 degrees. It takes about 41,000 years to accomplish this. And because of this wobble, it is winter in the northern hemisphere when we're closest to the sun, and a summer when we're farthest. That's You would think the opposite, wouldn't you? But in 1998 was recorded the hottest summer on record, and sunspot activity was low. And the reason I said the Maunder minimum was so curious because it had low sunspots and a mini ice age. In 1998, it was very hot. So I'm going to leave a link to Space Weather who discusses that because NASA has great science. You know, here's where this all comes in. You combine extra sunspot and solar activity with man-made CO2, which has some effect, but methane, which is much more potent, that could eventually have a genuine effect on this planet. So we want to look at methane because methane abatement and technology go together. And if I was a young scientist, I'd be looking at it. It's not reasonable to stop food and industry in the name of climate change. We have to eat and we have to build. So we also have to look at abatement and not producing. And that's why in the reality of methane video, I discussed a lot of things that we are doing and the future looks pretty good. So at any rate, I want to get going. I thank you so much. Please don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. I do notice and I do thank new subscribers genuinely. Thank you. I must go.